Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
Well, hello. Good morning, everybody. There we go. Let's get rid of that, even though that is our flag. The flag we wave high here.
You got some new stuff you've been working on. You got the loop of the song playing. Well done. Proud of yourself.
I've been tinkering.
Yeah, you. In other words, Jamie did it.
No, I did this one.
Did you?
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, Jamie did the design.
Yeah.
But, I did the placement. As we learn more and more about StreamYard, we are now owned. StreamYard owns us.
What?
Yes. I've got to tell you that was part of the deal. They actually, I signed you over StreamYard, so they'll come and collect eventually.
How's their benefits? They have good insurance and stuff like that. That's all I care about.
They'll let you live.
Oh, good. That's all I need. Little you, little AJ. That's all I need in my life.
There you go. That's all anybody needs, and that's why they're here, 8:00 Monday through Friday. If you haven't figured out by now, it's the Jack Henke Show. I'm even wearing your colors. I got
what? You feeling all right?
I got your scalp here, so there you go. You as well. You have double the scalp.
Yeah, I got a huge head. That's definite. So you survived the weekend.
Yeah, for the most part, you know.
Okay. So,
you got a dad on the in the shop. My dad's in the shop up on the rack. You know, I got a little pneumonia action going there. So drain a few lungs today, at least two. And
it's more than two.
Yeah, I'm afraid he should be so lucky at this point, but no. So yeah, it bites.
Yeah, it bites, but at least he's got access to that help.
I will say he's up at St. Mary's Ascension or whatever, and boy, it was like MASH 4077, best care anywhere. They were on him. It was great.
Excellent.
I mean, yeah, it was really nice. They did a really good job there. So he's in great hands. So.
Do they know even though he's Jewish and it's a Catholic joint, they're still good with that?
Oh, Catholics love us. Oh my God, no!
Catholics love us.
Catholics and Jews.
Well,
like,
I thought you were.
No, two. Nice.
There are two.
Come together, yeah. No. Catholics are huge fans of us. Christians, they could do without us.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that he's getting what he needs.
You're doing well.
It's never easy. It's got to make him feel better. Did you know? I didn't know this until this morning that spring training starts today.
The actual start. I mean,
Catchers and whatever.
The reporting. Okay.
Yeah, but it's the first sign.
So
I always think
Willie Mays Hayes's stretch limo is parked, pulling up to the gate.
I always think baseball is just not lucked to it. They're taking advantage of their natural scheduling. I mean, people love this time of year. They look to baseball. They think of baseball like spring and warm weather, instead of cold falling temperatures and getting darker. So baseball's got that halo of the weather working for them.
An inherent optimism that goes along with spring training.
Yes,
every year.
Absolutely. We got to talk about that. Also, we got a little baseball connection we'll talk about with AJ too this weekend at camp. Good news. So, Mr. Bob's, even though it's the spring training is starting, it ain't warm here in Wisconsin. I mean, it's warm. Relatively warm.
We had a great weekend.
Yes. And the next couple, we're going to get rain instead of snow, and the snow is pretty much gone. And later on, we might get some snow this week. But the point is, the homeless in Milwaukee still need our help. It's not warm yet. So men's winter jackets are still very much in need. Tonight is one of the drop-off nights from 4 to 6 p.m. at Mr. Bob's on Dakota Drive in Grafton. And the website is mrbobsunderthebridge.org. You can get all the information you need there to donate time, effort, money, however you can help. It's appreciated and needed. So thank y'all. Java House, I feel, oh yeah, did you see the drinks Lisa's got going for the Valentine? Do you know what today is called? Galentine's Day. Did you know that? Have you heard that one?
What does that entail? What do I have to do?
Well, you have to be a gal. First of all.
I'll get to work on that right away.
And it is a day for, I guess, women friends to hang out. So that's ahead of Valentine's Day. And there's some ironic twisting days, national days that are with Valentine's Day. For example, it's Galentine's Day. So what ties into that? Some women got together 10 years ago and made this day. You will love this, Bulldog. Mm-hmm. It's National Crab Rangoon Day.
Oh, now we're talking.
Because it's this group of friends, that was one of their favorite things. So they put this thing together. It's National Crab Rangoon Day. They don't have that at the Java House, but they got a lot of good stuff. Like, what are those? Can you focus on that first? Never mind.
Hang on,
sorry,
no, I can.
I want to get that list of drinks. The Valentine's.
Yeah, I can do that. Hang
on. I feel like a jilted lover from Job House Day. I'm on the clear liquid diet today, so I can't have coffee.
Oh, right. You got that going down.
That's yeah. Right. So look, the name's Love Monkey, Love Bug Latte, Steamer. Have you ever had a steamer?
I have not. I think my kid has, and they seem
to enjoy quite a bit. The young people like the steamers.
Yeah, young people.
German chocolate cake mocha. That's got
to be good.
I hope that's chunky, but the best one is left at the altar mocha. So you just gotta love that. Just wonderful. Okay, so a lot of going on at the Job House. Go over there and drink my coffee today because I can't have any. I will be back at it Wednesday. Yep, I know you will represent me well. I have no doubt about it.
Pick up your slack.
Hey, today Mel's has a new event that they just announced.
Oh yeah.
The Mel's Happy Dance featuring the Mission River Band. Now, Bulldog, I don't know if you remember the Mission River Band.
We had them in the in studio, did we?
Exactly. Yeah, back in the old days of in studio, it was like
We're getting there.
COVID was on. Remember, they came in despite the COVID with the masks. They played with the masks on. It was great fun. Dick Phelan, one of the longtime board members and a great guy, great supporter of Mel's mission, is got this band, the Mission River Band. All they do is charity gigs. And speaking of charity gigs, this long and winding road we got going here, also known as my opening monologue, on Friday at the Cultural Center, we're going to talk about this on Wednesday, but this Friday, the Cedarburg Cultural Center is hosting Willie Porter for their annual benefit concert for the Advocates of Ozaki. Excellent. So that's why we're having Barb Fisher on Wednesday. She'll be on with Patty. and Patty's a board member of
Right.
there, so they know each other very well. So.
I should bring this up. On Wednesday, apparently, according to Maggie Dobson, they're doing their wingding in our community room on Wednesday, and I mentioned because initially we were going to kind of crash it, but then we got too much going on with. What's her name? Patty's supposed to be there at the.
Oh, so she gonna be live with you?
No, I have no idea. So I mean, in theory, she should be on the show, but I think she's due. She's due in our community room, so she's double booked. Let's call it that way.
Well, you better have a microphone ready for her because Patty's not going to miss her turn. She is one of our most dedicated guests. She's come hell or high water. She's no matter where she is, she's ready to roll.
Well, all I know is we're going to war with Maggie Dobson then over who gets Patty. That's what I know.
That sounds like a losing proposition to me.
So you take care of that, and I'll be hiding in my room and let me know how it all shakes out. Okay,
no problem.
All right.
But do you have that visual for Mel's Happy Dance?
I'm looking.
You're efforting.
Did you send that to my email or to?
I believe
Facebook?
so.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, you know what? It's Facebook. I did an enter messenger.
Yeah,
or just go on Facebook and click on. But the Happy Dance features the Mission River Band. That's where I started.
Yeah.
Dick Phelan
has
arranged this. They're the official house band of Mel's on Wednesday, March 1st. So it's a Wednesday evening. It's a school night, kids, but I think you can still attend from 7 to 10 at the American Legion Hall in Hooterberg. They're going to have it. It's another great way to have fun and support causes. I mean, it's the thing with Mel's. They always have fun. It's not like, so there you go. The American Legion, everybody knows where the Legion Hall is. The Mission River Band, really a great group of guys. They were wonderful when they came on with us. So good stuff. Good shit, Maynard.
Cash bar, please drink responsibly and have a great time. I'm not sure if that's a double negative, but we'll work on that.
Cash bar.
Cash bar.
I think it's $15 to get in. I'm not sure about that.
Let me see.
They got to raise money somehow with that.
Yeah. No, it's actually it's free will donations. So when you come in, whatever you feel like paying.
Free willy.
So shake yourself down.
Did you ever watch Free Willy? I'm
not into kind of like the whole.
So you did you or not?
Animal in peril movies. That's not my kind of thing.
Okay. Did you? I never have either. Did you watch any of your Oscar movies this weekend?
No, I was reading all weekend. We're doing this book next week at the
Glare.
I know we're working on it. There we go.
Transcendent
Kingdom by Yag Yase. It's for the community conversations on race that we're doing this month throughout Ozaukee County, and I have been tasked to run that book club next Monday. So I kind of spent
How's the book?
The book is outstanding. I was actually kind of groaning a little bit because it's not quite my genre.
Because it's your natural reaction to everything.
Of course, to everything. Do I have to?
You're gonna make me read a great book?
No. Well, and you said the right words. Damn, this is a good book. It's outstanding. Good. It's so good.
What is it? I mean, is it?
So it is kind of a family drama.
It's a novel,
but it's funny. There's a lot of somewhat like kind of just vicious dark humor in there. It's kind of but about a family that basically immigrated from not Kenya. Where are we coming from here? Hang on. Ghana. So they're and they wind up in Alabama, sort of in the deep South, and it's interesting how the cultures kind of they don't clash, but they kind of meld. And the daughter, who is the main character, it's her voice, she's basically relating this tale. She becomes a research scientist, basically trying to understand the neurons of the brain, chemistry type stuff. And
in Alabama.
No, she's in. Actually, she winds up going to school. She's still a student, but she's kind of a grad student on the West Coast, so kind of in the San Francisco area. And her mother, who kind of becomes in Alabama a bit of a fundamentalist and kind of gets enraptured in the one of the churches that you'll find in bombed out strip malls. So and her mom is suffering from a very deep depression. and her. Her family has all kinds of tragedy, but she has a really interesting viewpoint on it, and I can see where the book is heading. She's trying to show how her obsession with understanding brain chemistry is directly tied to her mother's depression and her brother's suicide, but basically by becomes an addict. He becomes a oxy heroin addict. So so there's a lot. It's all kinds of tragedy, but the narrator has a really interesting viewpoint. It's not like it sounds like it'd be a very depressing book, and it's not. It's a really. I said it's so well written. My God, is this thing well written? So
cool.
That's so I just
there. So you know what? Every once in a while, you got to listen up and do something. Get out of your comfort zone.
This is my one time this year. Never again.
I got to tell you, I am getting through this audiobook, not getting through it, enjoying like crazy. This book, it is Government Cheese by Stephen Pressfield. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah. Yes, I've seen it around. While Jack's doing that, let's talk about this. We don't have to talk about anything. Here's the crack of the whip.
It's brand new.
Nice.
It's a
memoir. Okay.
Yeah. He's a writer. He did screenwriting. What's that?
Look at the bottom of the screen.
What?
Patty,
I told you. Anyway, the book is. I want you to know. You'll be the first to know. You get the biggest kick out of this. He becomes a screenwriter along the way before he gets one of those things. Anyway,
terrible
old
choice,
movies,
by the way. Terrible choice.
Old movies that he has become a freak of because he has this mentor. He makes him watch them. All these old Italian movies and all kinds. All those things. So all of a sudden I'm going, those sound pretty good. So see, so this is where I'm telling you. See, you had to read that book. Broaden your mind. It sounds like I'm gonna have to do a little cine snobbery.
I will say, of all of the international cinema you can dip a toe into, for you, the Italians would probably be your best choice. Yes, I think you'd actually love Fellini. I think you're a willing Fellini victim. So I wouldn't start with something like 8.5, but I think if you started with something like what's the one with the big one? Not Roma. It escapes me.
I think it's Roma, isn't it?
Roma's fun, but that's not a good starting point.
Okay.
It'll come to me in a bit.
All right.
It's over to Anthony Quinn, who plays like a circus freak, and he winds up in a relationship with a street woman. And it's really, it's a great movie. But all
right. Well,
but anyway, yes.
Anyway, got a couple things because AJ's coming on. It's we got to get him going.
Indeed.
I think this is funny. I usually don't do non-food days, but it's the day before Valentine's Day, so of course it is International Condom Day.
Can be food.
Used correctly, condoms prevent 98% of pregnancies. However, this is the disturbing part. Since the majority of people do not use condoms properly, this drops the pregnancy prevention rate to about 82 to 90% of pregnancy.
Still good. Still a good percentile.
It's also it's crab rangoon, which I thought was interesting because if you wear a condom, you probably won't get the crabs nearly as much. And then National Cheddar Day. It's the second most popular cheese in America. Can you tell me what the most popular cheese in America is?
Speaking of Italian cinema, mozzarella.
That's right. How did you get that? I can't believe it.
Because pizza, and everyone eats pizza all day long, every day, for every meal.
All right, and it's National Tortellini Day.
Oh, I love tortellini, man.
You got to bring AJ in for that one. See where he is. But did you know that the story of tortellini?
I do not know the story of tortellini. No.
The story goes: the goddess Venus had come to stay at a tavern in the Italian city of Bologna. Of course, that's where the goddesses stay. The owner, trying to spy on, so he was a peeper, trying to spy on her through the keyhole, was only able to see her navel. He was so inspired by the sight that he rushed to his kitchen and created the navel-shaped pasta we now call tortellini. Now these pasta
I-
these pasta pillows of deliciousness are adored by pasta lovers all over the world. So there.
I find this story a bit hard to swallow.
Chew before you swallow. Let's bring in our guy. Let's bring in our resident Italian.
It is time for sports on the Jack Henke Show with the amazing, the great, the Italian, the Italian stallion, AJ McKinney.
Hi guys.
There we go. AJ, good morning. Are you
AJ, how you doing,
Hi
AJ?
guys. We may have a little camera issue today. I'm on my phone actually, so I'm not on the.
That's
Okay.
It's working. We hear you and we kind of see you. That's good.
The tablet's dead, so I'm.
Yeah, it's
on
great.
the phone.
We can't see you. It's great.
All right.
That's
So
all right. You're good.
We had a busy weekend this weekend. Homestead played Friday. We won again. And for those of you who want to come out and watch us play in Cedarburg on next Thursday, the 23rd.
Oh, it's next Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next Thursday.
I thought it was this Thursday. Okay.
Next Thursday.
Okay.
Next Thursday, the 23rd. And we got a game on Friday against Grafton.
Ooh, that's a big one, isn't it, AJ?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Is
Big one.
like are you guys like tied with Grafton, or how is the standing shaking out right now?
We're tied for first with Nicolay. Nicolay lost on Friday night.
Oh, who did they lose to?
Whitefish Bay.
Okay, so it's a pretty tough conference this year.
Yeah,
Lot of good teams.
Pretty tight. It's pretty tight, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. Saturday we had the Badgers at Marquette. I got home for the second half of the Badger game. Kind of wishing I didn't.
Right.
based
Right.
on
I'm
how
glad
they
I
played.
didn't see it.
Yeah.
They were up by 11 at halftime, and they ended up losing by 10 in overtime.
They're up by 17, Jack.
What the hell happened?
They didn't score in overtime.
Jeez.
Yep. They didn't score in overtime.
Scoring is going to be their bugaboo all year long, for sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Marquette won though.
Marquette won. Marquette
Yep.
beat Georgetown by
Yep.
20. So
Yep.
That was good. They're in first place now. They play Xavier on Wednesday
At Xavier or in Milwaukee?
in Milwaukee.
Okay. That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. Winner gets first place. So
Excellent. Okay. I heard there was a football game too this weekend.
yeah, there was a big game this weekend. Really good game. Unfortunately,
Wait a minute. Is the reason you're on your phone because you lost your inheritance with your prediction? You bet everything on your Super Bowl prediction?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to
No.
you about that, AJ.
my iPad. I came back this morning. My iPad's dead. So
Oh.
I didn't lose my inheritance. I just lost my.
Well,
iPad.
I did.
So-
I listened to you. I bet the house. I bet the farm with your numbers. And right now, I've got two bookies outside my door. Want to talk to me after the show?
Yeah. Speaking of books, I'll get into that in
Just
a little
having my
bit
phone.
because we got some big
Okay.
news. We got some big news on the book front as well.
Excellent.
But
All right.
yeah, big, excellent Super Bowl. I thought it was a very unfortunate ending that it was called on a penalty,
Yeah.
but it's
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm in the minority on this
But it-
one, which is it's not unusual for me. But did you think that was penalty should have been called at the end or not? I think we lost AJ.
You get your little herky jerky there. Still with us there, AJ?
AJ.
NORAD to AJ. I blame those flying objects we keep shooting out of the sky all weekend. Must be. It's a cylinder. It's a hexagon.
We see him. I can
Yeah.
see him, but I can't hear him. AJ, you're mute. Something's going on. Either maybe you muted yourself or something. But I'll go on. Hopefully, he can hear me. He'll come on and give me his thing.
Yeah.
A nitpicky penalty on. You didn't watch any of it, did you, Bulldog?
Not too
No.
Certainly not
Yeah.
the ending. I was at my mom's house, and we were having my aunt's chili.
Ooh, any good?
Outstanding, really good. I'd never had cornbread in chili before.
What?
I didn't know that was a thing.
What?
It's a thing. No, I've had noodles. Again, I'm a macaroni guy, but
you don't put it in. You dunk it in.
Yeah, so that's kind of that's what I did. I kind of plopped it right in the middle of the bowl, and then just kind of. But then eventually, it all kind of broke up.
Yeah,
and it just became part of the chili, and it was all great. It was what a great. So I'm excited to do that again.
Well, cornbread. I love cornbread. It's probably not. I know it's not good for you, but it's just to me. I could eat that every day.
That's good.
But with chili, it's outstanding.
Oh, it's stellar. So that was that was good. And then I was there until about halftime, and then it was time to go home. But of course, my highlight of the night was twofold. The first trailer for The Flash, and of course, the first trailer for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So,
it's a great trailer.
Great. That was like fun. I mean, although it's interesting, is my dad laid up at 80, with what he's got going on. Lest we forget, Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, is 80.
Is he 80?
He's 80. He turned 80 this year.
And he's in that Western that's going on Paramount Plus too. Yeah, he's rolling. So
I'm hoping Howard gets back to his Indiana Jones fighting form soon too.
He will. The big controversy is a nitpicky penalty. They said on like third down, Kansas City was driving. The ball's at the 15-yard line, and the receiver went out, and the defender held him, grabbed his jersey, and kind of half spun him around, and then the ball was thrown and incomplete, but the ref threw the flag. And people are having a fit saying, this is the typical thing you read online right now. A nitpicky penalty on a potentially uncatchable ball took the air out of a fantastic finish and essentially decided the winner. Was it a hold? I think so. Was it much of a hold? Absolutely not. I disagree with that, because anytime you grab somebody's jersey, it's a hold. You could make that call on almost every passing play, and it was a relatively flag-free play in the game, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, he held him. The guy admitted he held him. He goes, his thing was, I grabbed his jersey, but I was hoping I would get away with it. Well,
I held up the corner gas station. I was hoping I'd get away with that too. Didn't quite work out.
I see AJ. I know he's probably going.
Sorry, AJ.
The thing is, I hate when people say, well, the game shouldn't be decided by the refs. Well, don't put the refs in the position where they have to call you for a penalty. I mean, that's silly.
Well, that's what's interesting about any sport, and certainly football more than anything. It's certainly a game of this stature. Is
let them play.
But you're everything that goes on is up to the interpretation of the officials. That's why they call them officials. So whether you think they're idiots or whether you think they're geniuses, usually depending on which side of you fall on, team-wise, then that's what the game is. That's what it is.
The best thing that I saw that came out of this whole thing with the call is the Eagles coach. Now, his team lost, and he said, you want me to rip on the refs? I'm paraphrasing here. He said, I'm not going to do that, to make a split-second decision. He goes, the game wasn't just about that one call. There are so many things going on for the rest of the game where we made mistakes. We could have done this better. And he said, today the Chiefs were better.
Yeah.
That's, what a great refreshing attitude instead of saying we got screwed.
Right.
And first of all, I don't think they got screwed. Anyway, it did make the end a foregone conclusion, because then Kansas City was just running the ball out to get a field goal at the end. And it really, instead of a potential guys going back and forth, it made it less exciting. But you got to make the right play. You can't get away with it.
I think the worst thing that came out of this is that they unnecessarily greased all those light poles in Philly, because now the poles are all greasy all week for no reason.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm glad I wasn't in Philadelphia. Patrick Mahomes, he was magical. He's got the highest ever winning percentage, 584. When trailing by 10 points in his NFL career. They were down at halftime by 10 points.
He seemed injured at one point, did he not?
He re-aggravated on the last, one of the last few plays before half. Guy fell on his ankle again, which is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was going to be out, but of course he wasn't. But the other two, so his winning percentage, 584, that doesn't sound very good, but the two closest to him when trailing by 10 points, Tom Brady was 378 and Joe Montana was 370. That's well behind where he was. So it tells you a little bit something about how good he is.
Yeah.
And this is the first Super Bowl in NFL history where both teams scored 35 points. It was 38. Right. It was 38-35. They both scored more than AJ thought the other team would score. So, and a couple other headlines: Jets inquire about the availability of Aaron Rodgers. That's going to hopefully that'll get resolved sooner than later. Of course, it won't.
No, months.
and to the good, the Bucs streak hits 10. Bucs have won 10 in a row.
Very nice, very nice.
Downing the Clippers on Friday. So that's pretty damn good for them.
Well, I think AJ we're having some. We're going to continue with some audio problems there, so we'll just have to let that one go for today. We'll still pay AJ.
Is he reconnecting?
Not sure. AJ still out there? You got any audio? Hark! I hear nothing.
Try cutting it out, AJ, and come back in. Maybe that.
Yeah, that doesn't with StreamYard. That's not. That was a Zoom thing, and StreamYard not so much.
Okay. Well, we had him earlier on. Anyway,
we did.
And this is. Can you guess what the average price paid for a ticket to the Super Bowl was this year?
Average price. I mean, I'm $1,200. I'm too low, aren't I? That's depressing. That's really depressing. Please tell me we're not over 2,000. We're not over 2,000. Oh, geez. That's really depressing. I hate all of this.
The average price paid for a ticket to the big game this year was $9,000.
God! What?
Yes, right.
Where does all that money go? Who gets that?
The
I want some of that action.
You want to cut of the owner's pie?
I've got a pretty good-sized backyard. I could put on a Super Bowl here in Southville.
Sounds like you had a Super Bowl of chili, which was pretty
good.
good.
Good. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Made with turkey meat. It was turkey chili.
Wow.
Good.
Pretty funky.
So good. Yeah. Well, my aunt's from the East Coast, so we were having Massachusetts.
Massachili?
Massachili, yes. No, Maine, actually. I'm sorry, Portland. Portland, Maine.
Oh.
They used to be Massachusetts. Now they're in Maine. So, yeah.
It's supposed to be a funky place, Portland, Maine.
It is a funky place. That is a shockingly clean city. It's just well, it's because you go to an urban area.
You go to Maine, you expect it to be dirty?
Not Maine, not the state, but just in any kind of compressed urban area. I mean, there are just parts of Milwaukee where you go, ugh.
This is a compressed urban area.
But Maine, it's just it's like they're dusting in the corners of the buildings or something. It's so clean. It's weird. I was very uncomfortable. Tall buildings, large, very, very urban setting, spotless. The windows are shiny.
What's the population?
I don't know. I'll turn my researchers loose on that when we have them.
Okay. All right. So
anyway.
I'm excited about today's guest. I'm excited about all.
She's in the green room, kind of. I see her square in there, but I don't see her. So hopefully she'll turn her camera on at some point. Mary, AJ, I'm gonna have to send you packing. Thanks for trying, and hopefully your iPad will be up and running tomorrow. Plug it in. That's the IT job for you. Have a good day, AJ.
AJ's got good book news. We can share that tomorrow. Oh, no show tomorrow. That's right.
Tomorrow. That's right. Rerun tomorrow, everybody. Program.
We got to let Lisa Curtis know that.
You have to do that. So.
Yep.
All right, AJ. Have a good
Wednesday. Wednesday we'll do the thing. So today we have Mary Gilo. She's coming on, and I've known Mary a while. And the thing about Mary, in addition to everything else, is she never ages. She just always looks the same. In a good way. It's not like, you still look the same. I mean, she's like a kid. She's got like the eternal youth thing going. So
I'll have to ask her diets and habits. I want to replicate what she does. So I'm bringing her in. I don't see her very well. I don't
know why.
Oh no! We're sitting here talking about how wonderful you look, and then we can't see you.
Then, well, I've got a camera and I'm
Okay.
pushing a button.
There's
Right.
Bulldog, is there a thing to allow the camera? You have
Yeah,
to.
if usually your computer or iPad or device or whatever will say, are you going to allow StreamYard to access your camera and mic? And you will say yes. And that usually does the trick.
Well,
There's also I don't know if that's just on mine, but along the bottom of my, what do you call it? The thing you see, mute, stop cam.
Yeah, you can turn the
settings.
camera on, yeah.
I see all that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you blipped.
Something happened.
Whatever it was you did, you're on the right track.
Should I hit stop cam?
I'll give it a shot. Well, okay, so that brought up your icon. So yeah, that won't help us too much. It's not yet. Are you using a laptop, a PC? What do you have?
I'm using my desktop.
Okay. And your webcam is connected and happy and
It should be.
okay.
See the little light on up top. I usually cover that thing with a Post-it so that people cannot spy on me. But I remember to take it off.
I never do that because I want people to spy on me, but that's just I'm weird that way.
That's not the way you're weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I know how to do this on Zoom, so you've got a new procedure here, right?
We're using this StreamYard thing here, but again, on your end, it should be just kind of like, boom, up and running.
Right.
Huh. I wonder why.
Right. I'm looking at various buttons.
Okay.
Back to 10.
Oh, don't hit too many because we get in trouble.
Don't hit the X.
Yeah, don't hit that.
Yeah, do you have
There's something that says present. Should I hit that one?
Couldn't hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go into.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's present. That's when you want to actually share your screen or share. Yeah, so that doesn't do much in the
Right next to that one, Mary, is settings. Have you looked at that one?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Then camera.
Yeah. What does your camera thing say?
Right here up at the top.
So on settings, it's general, camera, audio, virtual background, and then you should see yourself if it's working in the square. If you click on camera,
Nope.
you do see yourself. You don't see yourself.
I don't see myself.
So the camera, there's a drop down menu, and it'll basically let you select your webcam.
All right.
And if you select that, you should
Camera resolution, integrated webcam.
We don't. Yeah. Yes. Integrated web. Well, whatever. I'm using mine that says FaceTime HD camera.
Same here.
Yours should be. I don't know if you have a selection of cameras to choose from on the drop down menu, or just one.
Gives me one.
Okay.
Integrated webcam,
And that one's selected. Okay.
Yep.
That is strange because actually that
Definition, high definition.
is your webcam is it on board as part of your PC or is it an extra add-on that you plug in? Like
I think
USB?
it should be right on board. I've never had a problem with it with Zoom.
Hmm.
So I would assume it would be the same.
Okay. All
Why
right.
don't you come over, Bulldog?
We'll just come on. Yes, I'll be back.
Just leave the show.
Have the coffee ready.
Oh, right. Okay.
I like bakery. Whatever you got.
All right. All I see is camera, audio, and
Wow.
virtual background.
Bummer.
And no matter what I do to the camera, nothing happens.
That is odd. Well, this has been kind of a day of our sports guy had some technical difficulties too with his audio, so it's been kind of a day of this, which happens from time to time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're broadcasting. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we hear you, and so we can definitely get your message.
Yeah,
and that's the goal.
We'll have to have you on again, Mary, which would be good anyway. We'd love
bad news. We got to have you on again. You're stuck with us.
But we'd still like to, if you're willing, we'd like, even though we can't see you, which I am unhappy about.
I put on makeup and everything this morning.
So did we.
I can see you perfectly. You both look fantastic.
Well, I think
I tell you, Mary's a world-class schmoozer. She is. I can tell you that right now. She's
but only in the best way.
That's right.
I don't tell tales. I do. Well, maybe I'll tell a few tales, but normally I don't.
Well, Mary, why don't you tell us a little bit about luminaries and what you're all about.
Okay, Luminaries is a business I started in 1989, so it's 33 years now. I had moved here, my husband and I and our 2 children had moved here from Arizona, from Phoenix, in 1987. And I was at that magical age where I thought, okay, I've played tennis, I've been a volunteer, I've been a stay-at-home mom. It's time to get a job. I've got 2 kids who probably are looking at college in 10 years or so. So I thought, what can I do? I don't want to work for someone again. I've done that before. Don't want to do it. And when you're of a certain age, I was 40 at the time, you don't want to have someone else bossing you around, especially a 25-year-old. So I wanted to do something that was fun, something that I would love, and something that was flexible, being a mom. So a friend of ours who was Nancy Reagan's drug czar at the time, he had written a number of books, and he came to our house for dinner one night, and he was telling us about this book tour he had been on where he had 37 cities to visit, and there were no people to help him. So he would have to fly to the city, rent a car, get to all of his media appointments, get to a book signing, get back to the hotel, then take off for a new city the next day. And he said it's almost impossible and very exhausting to do that. But he said, I went to one city, Kansas City, and there were these people who met me at the airport, and they made me cookies, and they took me to my hotel. And they took me everywhere.
Makes all the difference in the world, Mary.
Oh my God. That looks like a homemade one, too.
It is. My daughter made it yesterday. Peanut butter cookie with chocolate stuffed in the middle. She's brilliant. Yeah, she's a beast.
Wow. Well, I have made cookies for my authors, but not that good. And I didn't do that after the first few years because it was too much work.
Right.
But Ken Barron is the guy's name. And I thank him forever for saying, Mary, if no one in Milwaukee is doing that, why don't you think about it? Nice. And at the time, Harry W. Schwartz Bookshops was really getting into author tours. And I contacted them and asked them if they needed someone. Then I immediately started contacting publishing houses. And at that time, now there are like 4 big publishers.
Right.
At that time, there were probably 40.
Yeah.
So I wrote them all a letter. I put together a brochure saying I could do all this stuff, which I had no idea whether I could do it or not because I was a newcomer to Milwaukee and I didn't know how to find everybody or everything or every studio. But I put it together and
Mary, can I interrupt you for a sec? I have a litany of questions are already jumping into my mind.
Oh, yeah.
A big one being, had you had any experience with public relations or author type things before?
I was an English journalism major in college, and I had done PR, but mostly as an executive volunteer level thing with cookbooks and authors that groups would bring in just as a volunteer. So and I'm a huge reader. So I just knew that this was going to work for me. So I just put all that out there. I contacted publishing houses, and lo and behold, they started to call me. They didn't know me. I didn't know them. There was no high tech anything. Nobody had email. Basically, you had voicemail on your phone, and they were still using typewriters as I was back in those days. So everything
I hear typewriter and I cringe.
I know. And it's so much easier now, of course, because you can email back and forth. You don't actually have to talk to people on the phone, which is my favorite thing. And that's how it all started. And it started slowly. Yeah. And then it began to build because Harry Schwartz at that time had 5 bookstores. Right. And they had authors coming all the time. So it was a great business until the point where it was too much for me. And I had to start hiring other people on call. So I probably had 8 people on call at one time.
That's fab. And out of a suggestion from a friend, and so you never know how your life is going to turn at a dinner, but it's not like that one dinner changed your life because, Mary, you put in a lot of work to make it happen. It's not like you just said, okay, I'll try that. I'll make a few calls. No, you went, sounds like you went great guns and went after it.
But it sounded like such a great business to start and a very niche business since really no one else was doing it. And, you kind of invent it as you go along. But actually there was a woman in Baltimore, Maryland, who had started a network of people like me around the country. And she would call and say, I have so-and-so, Penguin is sending this author to Milwaukee. Can you take care of that author? So that helped too. There was that beginning stage where there was outside help as well as me directly contacting publishing houses. And Schwartz was great about sending me who was coming in so that I could actually contact the publicist.
I love the Harry Schwartz books.
I know. And Boswell has done a really good job of keeping that same kind of hometown, high-end, hands-on business. And we are so lucky to have an independent bookstore that is that wonderful.
So beyond the independence, Mary, I have to ask, do you then still wind up working a little bit with like Barnes and Noble or Books A Million, that type of more corporate things
Barnes
too?
and Noble rarely does book
Right.
tours. They didn't do it at one time at all.
Yeah.
But I went to them all the time because there were so many bookstores in Milwaukee. There were the Schwartz five bookstores. Barnes and Noble had 4.
Yeah.
Borders had 4.
I used to
So
love
when an
Borders.
author would come to town, sometimes they'd have media and sometimes they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But what you would do is drive to every single bookstore, introduce the author to the booksellers so that they would then hand sell the book to the customers that they knew would enjoy it. And the authors loved that.
Yeah.
They loved the contact with the actual people who were handling their books. And the booksellers loved it because instead of just shelving a book, they actually got to talk to the author and say, who's your audience? Who can I sell this book to? So it was a wonderful way to expose authors as well.
Okay, Mary, I'm like jumping up and down in my chair here. This is like, you're like, obviously, because what I do for a living, you're
a library man.
rocketing up to as my favorite guest of all time here. So this is the fun part of the show. This is the name dropping part of the show. Go ahead, give us your roster of the biggest authors you've dealt with thus far.
I'm sorry we are not on camera because I actually pulled 4 books.
Okay.
And in honor of the Super Bowl, I have worked with Terry Bradshaw, and he was all over yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, a big suitcase full of money.
And I worked with Paul Horning.
Oh, nice.
I worked with Ron Wolf, and I worked with David Marinus, who wrote the iconic book on Lombardi.
Okay.
So
I love, excuse me, Mary, but I'm going to amplify what you're saying because you have a thing on your website, a page on your website where you have notes from the authors that you had.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Are you kidding? We studied your whole life, for God's sakes.
I have 4 notebooks, and every time I liked an author, I would say, okay, thank you for signing my book, but would you also be happy to sign your philosophy in a nutshell?
Right. And it's just great because Paul Horning's on there and David Marinus is on there. And I didn't see Terry Bradshaw, but there were some other names and some,
Oh.
Look, there's Mary. Hooray.
So we can now put a face to the
Yes.
voice.
Yes.
And you see that I am in a Boswell bookstore.
Absolutely.
There you go. You
Yeah.
betcha.
Great.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh, so
and-
can you show some of those philosophies?
yeah.
I sure can.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So if you click on them, Bulldog, they get big.
Yep.
So
The one
Amy
from
Tan,
Amy
she's wonderful.
Tan cracks me up because Amy is such a big deal author, and I worked with her 3 different times on book tour, and she has anxiety, so she had these puppies traveling with her all the time.
Ah.
And the first time I ever worked with her publicist sent me this little package, and it was doggy diapers. And I thought, well, that's a first. I've not seen this before. But she's lovely. She was actually part of a group called the Rock Bottom Remainders. If you
Sure.
know anything about them.
oh yeah.
Stephen
Dave
King
Barry.
and Dave
Dave
Barry,
Barry.
Right,
And,
right. So I have actually seen her with the Rock Bottom Remainders, and she is a wild woman, but she's actually quite a very quiet, sophisticated woman in real life.
As a fanatic for low-budget horror movies, seeing Bruce Campbell here makes my heart warm.
I did not know who he was,
I
but I
know
called
too
my
well.
son, who was a huge fan, and I said, "Hey, tell me about Bruce Campbell. Do you know him?" He said, "Oh my gosh, Bruce Campbell."
Mom, where you been?
Come
Yeah.
on.
This is what happens when you have children. If it's a fan, if they are fans, they want the book. So
Right.
some of those signed books go directly to them.
It's the wonderful Florida author, humorist Carl Hyacin, who was just great, one of my favorites.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
He's a great guy. He was very quiet. And when I met him, the second time or third time I'd worked with him, he had a young child. He had a baby like late in life, and he was exhausted looking.
Yeah, yes.
He was not that much. He wasn't so funny that time.
Yeah, I bet. Kids will do that to you.
The amazing Dennis Lehane, who is one of the best crime and thriller writers we have.
I know.
What does that one say, Bulldog?
I love that. That says the glass is half full, so let it be.
There we go. There we
He's
go.
quite the philosopher. Also, the first time I met Dennis, and I worked with him a number of times too, he had one pair of shoes and he was wearing them and it was falling apart. So one of the things we had to do was go shoe shopping. So in one of the books he signed to me, he said, "For dear Mary, who knew me when I only had one pair of shoes." And it's so I love Dennis. He's very interesting and very very intellectual.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Paul Auster, it's funny. I actually saw him at the Mequon Harry Schwartz in the early, I want to say probably the early 2000s or late 90s, and became one of my favorite writers. Paul Auster's wonderful.
Yeah, he is.
great.
He's great. Yeah, Paul and I have a great story. I'll have to tell you another time.
Sure, absolutely. Well, so clearly, all right, we've name dropped enough. Let's save some for the next appearance. But
wait, go to Paul Horning's.
Sure.
He's on there, and Mary brought him up.
Absolutely.
Yesterday. And I have a Paul Horning jersey, Mary. That
Do you?
yeah, he's just. I love the guy.
See if I
Do you
can
know
find
that
it
he
here.
was in
There
Cedarburg
it is.
once a couple of years ago for a wine and harvest festival?
No,
He
I
was
didn't
at
know
Cedar Creek Settlement. We have an NFL tent there for every festival, and he happened to be there. So he was signing autographs, and it was kind of nice to see him, but he didn't remember me at all.
Yeah, I think he's had this kind of a tough time in the last few years or so.
Well, he's died. He's dead.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's not the toughest time you can have.
That too. Well,
Wait a minute. As a publicist, Mary, you should always know he is not. He's just unavailable.
yeah.
Right. But he was, I picked him up. He was flying in on a private plane. So I picked him up at Signature Airport, and he came off the plane, as many athletes as I've worked with did, walking side to side because the knees weren't working, the hips weren't working.
Sure.
But he had a big personality. And believe me, when he and I were in the car alone, driving here and there, he was sharing stories that were so un-PC. It was unbelievable. A lot of it had to do with flight attendants.
How I wish I had been there with my microphones to the back seats.
Oh my God.
The golden boy.
A lot of late night drinking right before the game. So somehow they still were champions.
Absolutely. Yes. Wonderful.
But
Great
I
stuff.
remember him. I grew up in St. Louis, so I didn't really have a favorite football team, but Paul Horning was the golden boy for everybody.
You
So
bet.
Sure.
yeah, he had a wonderful reputation, and he raced thoroughbred racehorses too,
which you're involved with,
right. So we had that in common, and I think he grew up in Lexington or Louisville, one of those places. So
I think it was Louisville. So about the thoroughbreds, Mary, that sounds like that is an entire whole. You don't just dabble in that, correct? You really have to be all in on something like that.
Well, we started 40 years ago, so we've had a long history.
Well, tell us about that.
Oh gosh, we were living in Washington D.C. and we were at a neighbor's cocktail party, and the men were all talking about various sports things, and one of them was a dentist, and he was talking about horse racing, and he had a horse racing the next day, and he said to my husband, "Hey, why don't you come out to the barn with me? You can meet our trainer and can watch the workouts in the morning." And my husband said, "Well, that sounds like fun." So we did. And about a week later, he said, "You know what? I think it'd be kind of fun to get in the horse business." So we had another neighbor who was interested, and his name was Doug Giles. And we thought, okay, we will get in with one horse and that trainer, and we will call our stable Double G Stables for the Gilo Giles last name. And we had a lovely mare named Conducive. She won about 6 races for us. So that was, that was kind of cool. So then we bought 1 or 2 more, and we just kept going. And we've lived in different cities all over the country, but we've always had horses in Maryland, and we've got the same trainer we had 40 years ago.
Wow.
Who's training 2 of our horses now.
Wow.
So with that in mind, did you ever handle author Dick Francis at any time?
No. That would have been a delight. My husband is a huge fan of Dick and his son Felix.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Very cool.
You sound like you know so much about this stuff.
Everything
that comes into the library.
I try. I certainly try, and fail every day. The problem with working in a library is I want to read everything, but I'm also 52 years old, and so every book, you feel a little sand ticking down the hourglass there.
Well, I don't know about you, but I give up now at 50 pages.
See, I'm 100. I decided to do.
I used to be 100, but you're younger than me.
Life
Life is getting shorter.
I'm seeing 50 in my horizon there, certainly.
But I'm thinking, if you don't grab me by 50, I have to move on.
Yeah.
Move on. There's too many books.
The cool kids say DNF these days. Did not finish.
Well,
Not finished?
Yeah, and
I will
50 pages is a good. If they don't have you by 50, forget it.
Yeah, and I really think somebody like, oh God, who writes the Reacher books? And I worked with him.
Oh, Lee Child.
Lee Child. Yeah.
Lee Child's books are that way. They grab you on page 1.
Oh yeah. No, he doesn't
And
waste
you
any
want to
time.
just keep rocketing through.
Certainly.
But there are a lot of literary books that it's sort of like people keep saying, okay, just hang with a little longer. You'll eventually get there.
Right.
No.
So in the 5,000 questions I have for you, we're running out of time here, so I'm going to dial it in by asking the state of the business. Like, you talk about how there's so fewer bookstores, and so
that's a nice, really short, brief answer.
What's it like out there? I'm just curious. What's it like out there now for you? I mean,
here's what happened in 2008. There was a market crash.
Yeah.
And publishers fell apart basically, and they weren't sure what they were going to do, and a lot of the bookstores were failing. It was a bad time, so authors started to drop off then. Yeah. And then gradually, after maybe 2010, they started coming back a little bit. But then we had COVID, and everything shut down for 2 years.
Yeah.
Publishers didn't publicize. Authors could not travel, did not want to travel.
Right.
There was a whole lot of virtual stuff, Zoom stuff. And that's kind of a hard way to sell a book.
Yeah.
I mean, you can Zoom in, but do you really want to buy a book to be able to Zoom in? A lot of people want that personal relationship. Certainly. So I would say that authors are gradually coming back.
Yeah.
But I've only had 4 since August.
Okay. So
it's slow. It is very slow. And I feel bad for bookstores, because they not only do you bring an author in to sign books, but while people are there, they shop for other books.
Right, exactly.
Buy other stuff.
Right.
So it's good that they're coming back. So
I've read that the Ma and Pa bookstore might be on a little bit of a resurgence. Is that in your experience? Have you seen?
I am hearing that, and I'm hearing that not so much in Milwaukee, but in other parts of the state.
Yeah.
The Green Bay, Appleton, places like that. Their smaller bookstores are getting better, and some people are starting new stores, which is also excellent. There are so many book festivals throughout the state too.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, great.
The Boswell certainly seems to be active with the author events.
They are great. They are great. What they've been depending on are local authors more than anything else from Wisconsin or from surrounding states that are close by, that those authors can drive here. So it's not so expensive, and they don't feel like they need to get on a plane and pick up some kind of a weird disease from somebody else.
There's a few out there, I hear. Well, fantastic. Well, Mary, this has been an absolute delight. I mean, I just think if we could see you, how delight it'd be like doubly delightful.
I know.
We'll work on that.
My office behind me is clean. It looks amazing.
Oh, God.
It looks very unusual. So
she even dusted for us, Jack.
Next time. We have to thank our mutual friend, Patty Patty gets Patty points for she's the one
As
who
always.
recommended this get
Patty
together.
should be the queen of Cedarburg, frankly.
She is.
She is involved in everything, and everything she touches is golden.
We should do a coronation on our show. It would be great for the
Oh
ratings.
my gosh! Make sure you put real jewels in that crown.
Oh yeah.
She has a regular Wednesday morning slot with us that she comes on and
I know
talks.
I know she loves it.
Yeah.
I pop in every once in a while and see her, and she's one of my favorite people in all the world.
She's a keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Question for you, Mary. I am actually trying to do more author type things at the Cedarburg Public Library. Is that something I could talk to you about in the future?
Yeah, I think here's what I think you need to do: have a relationship with Boswell. And the store out, Books and Company out in Economowalk work very closely with Boswell.
Okay.
They're both independents. But
Yeah.
I think if they would be happy to share an author. So if they've got an author coming in that you
Yeah.
might be interested in, you could say, hey, can they do an event
Yeah.
on a weekend day or an
Absolutely.
evening if you're not doing a book signing that evening, especially
Sure.
with children's authors. They don't always do evening events. They
Yeah.
do school events. So yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'd
Great.
be happy to talk to you.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. Yeah. We're just, again, as I know that things are opening up more, and I thought that's something we could.
And people
Good
love to see authors and they love to go to libraries to see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Cool. Wow. This was great. Thank you, Mary. Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Yes. You must come back. And you must show your face.
All right. And Bulldog's going to come over and adjust my monitor for me.
Well, I'll tell you, we can do a trial run next time. Knowing that we had this little quirk, what we can do is do a pre-show trial run and get everything up to speed.
One thing we cannot show is your clean office, though. I can't abide that. That's not going to cut it. We don't.
No, why would you want to share that? Right. So are you saying it would make you look bad?
Oh, you betcha. Absolutely.
Better.
Every bookstore I have ever been in, or every interview place I've ever been, their offices are just a mess, and books are stacked up because they are getting sent books from all the publishers all the time. Yeah, so don't feel bad.
Thanks,
I'm not allowed to sneeze in my office because it causes an avalanche. So problematic.
You guys are great. Love to come
Oh.
here once I figure out your system here.
Absolutely.
Great.
Sounds good. Fantastic. Thank you, Mary. And again, luminaries.com is your site, correct?
Luminaries.com. Somehow I got that. I don't know how I did that.
That's tough to do. It's very
Well,
impressive.
it was early.
That'll do
But
it. That'll work.
when I was a what was called a literary escort or a media escort, back when we had yellow pages, there was no way we could put me in there. The yellow page lady said, "Yeah, you're an escort. I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't think you want to be in the phone book." So, yeah.
We'd have gotten some fascinating phone calls, I'm sure.
That's right.
Oh boy.
That's right.
Fun.
Very popular.
Well, Mary Gilo, thank you so much, and we hope to see you around these parts again soon.
I hope so. You'll see me for Winter Festival. That's
Oh,
for sure.
fantastic! Oh,
Oh,
great.
excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care, Mary.
Thanks for coming.
by. We'll talk to you again.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Mary Gilo of Luminaries, author tours, public relations, and she's book smart.
Yes, and she does a lot of work with. I first met Mary when we helped the Cedar Creek Settlement do some Christmas stuff, and she's involved with the Cedar Creek Settlement and their PR and stuff. That's why when she mentioned Winterfest, she'll be around. She doesn't just do authors; she does other things as well.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
So she'll be around. Mary's lovely.
Extremely cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. I like the way I love the way she started the business up. She was just like, okay, let's do this. That's that's
Right.
There's a lesson there somewhere, I'm sure, kids.
Right. Well, and I read earlier this morning. I was reading about God, what's the big? I can't think of big bookstores. Name the chains we just
Like
talked about.
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah,
They're back in a big way. Did you know that
They've completely yes. Well, they restructured, which they had to do because they were so busy trying to sell you, book lights and nooks and tablets to read on. And I think they're going back to, hey, maybe we should try selling books.
Well, and the key to their success has been their CEO that they installed a year or 2 or 3 ago, whatever it was.
Right.
And the key thing that this person brought back is that it's a simple word. It's a 4-letter word. and it's love. They love books.
Yeah.
And it's all about the books again with them. So, and I think with Mary, that's one of the things you said. Someone said, you know, oh, she obviously loves PR. She's looking to do something. She loves books. So, you know, it really helps. Do you have to love what you do? No, but it sure as hell makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
It makes you get through because everybody has hard days. Even if you love what you're doing, you still have hard days with it sometimes.
Oh, you betcha.
So it's not all love, and the love gets you through. So I think that's a key thing, and I think that shows through, and you can tell in her voice. She loves what she's done and what she's doing. You just tell.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, that's great. So, hey, that's the show for Monday. Let's see. Did my background music work here? No,
no show tomorrow, kids.
Yeah, we'll throw a rerun on, and that'll be fine. And we'll see you Wednesday. Wednesdays should be quirky. I don't know if Patty's here or not. She said she's going to try to do both. That should be interesting.
She could jump in live, for God's sakes. Have a mic ready.
Don't you love that when Zach is just like, oh, yeah, just, make it happen because,
Russ Meyer was on me this morning. When are you going to get in there? When are you guys going to do that live thing? I said, Bulldog's making it seem more complicated than it is.
Oh, good. Well, you come in the studio today. I'll be upstairs and you set it all up and let me know how it's going. Just curious. Yeah. Let me know.
I can tell that, AJ has a thing where his voice goes up a couple octaves when he's aggravated. Oh, sure. So Bulldog doesn't have that. He gets this smile that's a little different. He goes, The sentences, usually when you speak, it's like a nice sentences, like nice diction, your announcer voice. But when you get a little irritated,
then I become Joe Pesci. Absolutely. Yeah, it happens every time. And you know how that worked out. You see Casino? If I had a ballpoint pen right there, in the thorax, baby.
Bulldog Pesci. That's you.
I like it. That works for me. Closer. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic week, a fantastic Monday. We'll see you Wednesday. And don't forget, where is it? Hang on. Very important. We can't.
Oh, yeah. It's starting today, isn't it?
It's already started. They set up yesterday. All right. Woo.
Thank you.
Not easy. It's like a video game.
I thought of you. That's how much this thing has stuck with me. When during the Indiana Jones trailer yesterday, when he brought the whip out, I'm like, oh, here's the whip.
Yes. I'm not sure how to take that, but anyway, I hope your procedure tomorrow is unremarkable at best. All right, enjoy. See you, everybody.